everybody. I'm your favorite sports analyst, Javon McKill, my favorite co-host,
James Gerwitz.
And this Saturday morning, y'all finna get started with J&J Sports episode 82. Almost at that 100. James, how you feeling this morning?
I feel fantastic. Happy to be back, and we're right in the middle of football season, so we got a lot of news.
It's a lot to cover. It's a lot that I just want to get out my chest. James, feels the same way. Before we do, man, make sure y'all like and subscribe to all our videos, YouTube, Podbean. Shout out to Manberg. We're going to shout them out at the end. But we're going to dive right into it, man. Episode 82. James, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it, man. First topic up, me and your favorite, NFL football. So, Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers could be Super Bowl contenders this season, James. Since the switch up from Mike Tomblin that he did with Russ to bench Justin Feilds, middle of the season, with the veteran Russell Wilson. We already know who Russell Wilson is. We know what he did, what he does. And he had success since the game versus the New York Jets, James. How do you feel about him so far?
I'm really happy that he's kind of grooved there with Pittsburgh. For sure. Like, especially considering the way that Denver had kind of let him go, and they were willing to actually pay for his salary for him to play for another team. And he's backing up the fact that he was worth that kind of money.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. I'm extremely happy for Russell Wilson, man. Not just because of his success with this new team, but just him having to come off the bench, which is not easy, you know, players that come off the bench. But we got to realize he's a veteran quarterback. He knows the game from beginning to the end of the book. So, you know, I think a lot of people forget that, like I said. And he basically saying, I'm not dead and I'm coming for that Super Bowl ring. He wants it, James. And I feel like Mike Tomlin brought that out of him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, maybe him and Sean Payton, they couldn't connect. You know what I mean? Coaching, it depends on a lot with the quarterback. So, yeah, all that plays a part in it, man. If we kind of look at his stats, the last two games, first game he was 16 and 29, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interception. That's a decent game, James, with the Jets. And then this Week 8 game that just passed, he was 20 out of 28 passes, 278 yards, 1 touchdown, and 0 interceptions. So, James, the fact that this guy is not throwing any interceptions speaks volumes already, because he had a rough season with the Broncos. You know, it's just rough. You know what I mean? So the fact that he can do a whole transition is like, man.
With all new players too.
New players, new talent, new coach. Sometimes that's all the quarterback needs, right there. You know what I mean? Just that motivation. Everyone thought Mike Tomlin was crazy for putting Russ in. I mean, from no type of belief, and you know that's sad. I feel like you got to have some type of belief in, you know, the guy, man. But he proved everybody wrong, everyone wrong. What does this mean to you, and what do you think the difference was when Russ was with the Broncos versus now?
That's a really good question. I think the difference is maybe just the reception, the team reception of them bringing him in and everything. I know in Denver, I think he had some sort of a party, like a birthday party or something, and his teammates were kind of talking about the gift bags and all of this and all of that. And I guess with Pittsburgh, he's just a lot more focused on football, is what it seems like.
Yeah. I think I know Mike Tomlin shut a lot of people up with this decision. I'm also happy for Russ because the last conversation we had about him was with the Broncos and Sean Payton and how they wasn't getting along, and they literally paid for him to get off a team. I mean, I know he played bad, but come on, the guy's still a all-star at the game, you know? And I think overall the message for this situation will always be have faith and never count people out too early. You know what I'm saying? I know if they win the Super Bowl, James, Sean Payton's going to be punching the air. Like, literally. Like, you know, you could have had that. You know what I mean? You could have had that if you just stayed with it. But I feel as though Tomlin showed that he had faith in Russ to the point where he just let Russ do Russ. You know, mess up or not. Play the game. Play your game. And it just connected. And I guess it was no connection. That's what I say the difference is. With Sean Payton, there's no connection. With Tomlin, he's something there that we don't know. But it's working. You know what I mean? It's working for sure. So I'm happy for the Steelers team, James. It's looking real good, real healthy. They played you already know. You know what I mean? They're pretty tough. So
very strong team.
Very strong, man. I can't wait to see, how the rest of the season play out for them. And just to end us off, man. Now we all know the Super Bowl failed game against Russ with New England Patriots when he was with the Seahawks. I mean, nobody will never let him forget that game. Even though it wasn't all his fault, the coaching had a lot to do with it. Just everything, you know what I mean? If he continues the success here with the Steelers and say they go to the Super Bowl or they are Super Bowl contenders, can that erase the tragic game that he had and he'll just have a clean slate?
Oh, of course. To win a Super Bowl with two different teams, I feel like is not easy, and that's almost Peyton Manning territory.
Yeah,
is what we're thinking about. And I know maybe it's a jump right now to say that Russ is, a future Hall of Famer in the same vein as Peyton Manning, but looking back, he beat Peyton in the Super Bowl.
So exactly. So that already, he's one of like the Drew Breeses of the game. Drew Brees beat Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. So all of that plays a part in it. Even though that the Super Bowl game was tragic, I would have to give Russ some riz if he won. Like, yeah, definitely MVP. And just the fact that he feeds knowledge to Justin Feilds. I don't know if you kind of catch that, James. Like, he's feeding a lot, which is good. So if he goes off, Justin Feilds is ready. Like, he's good.
I know. I think we had mentioned this, but what if Russell Wilson winds up with the Saints a couple years back instead?
Oh man, I would have rather that. I would have, cause we would have worked with him. We would have, you know what I mean. So, I mean, I just seen something on Instagram about Shador might hit the Saints. Which, man, if he could come with, man, that's it. We're good. That's all we need is a good coach and a good quarterback, and we're good. So, we'll keep you guys updated on just Russ and that team and how they play. Their schedule seems pretty easy for the rest of the season, so we're gonna see. We're gonna keep you guys updated. But before we get into the new topics, we got some great sports news of the day topics. A lot of them are positive. James, you ready?
I'm ready.
J&J Sports coming to y'all with more in 2024.